Knowledge Whale greets you. Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. The Empire State Building makes more money from observation decks than it does from renting office space. It's illegal not to flush the toilet in Singapore. For failing to flush, you will be fined $150, and police officers have been known to check. Buzz Aldrin's mother's maiden name was coincidentally Moon. Just 1% of friendships formed in the 7th grade are still intact by the 12th grade, according to a study by Psychological Science. Architects in Iceland wanted to push the appearance of utility towers beyond their basic functional structure, so they created a design proposal called the Land of Giants. Essentially, it turns electrical pylons into human-shaped sculptures. That is cool. Portuguese artist David Oliveira uses wire to draw in the air by creating sculptures that look like pencil sketches. There is a prison in Finland where the only thing keeping inmates in is a yellow picket fence. Anhedonia is the word for the feeling when you cannot find joy in things that usually bring you joy. In 2001, Pizza Hut paid the Russian Space Agency to send a pizza to the International Space Station at a cost of $1 million. That's an expensive pie. 20-year-old Kieran Cable from South Wales was with his girlfriend so much that his friends say that he actually disappeared from their lives. So much so that after 18 months of unreturned calls and emails, 50 of Cable's friends decided to surprise him with a mock funeral that included a coffin, a hearse, and even a eulogy. No need to change after you get a significant other, friends. Just include them in the group. It's all friendship. Despite having DNA evidence of the suspect, German police could not prosecute a $6.8 million jewel heist because the DNA belonged to identical twins and there was no evidence to prove which one of them was actually the culprit. Bruises turn colors because your body is breaking down and reabsorbing the hemoglobin that leaked from the broken blood vessels in your body. At full sprint, a cheetah spends more time flying than in contact with the ground. Hundreds of prisoners were left to die in their cells during Hurricane Katrina as officials abandoned Orleans Parish Prison. In the movie Saving Private Ryan, directors depicted combat so realistically that veterans actually had to leave the theaters during the opening scene, stating that it was the most realistic depiction of combat that they had ever seen. A 14-karat gold Lego brick was given out in the early 80s to employees who had worked at the Germany Lego factory for over 25 years. They are valued at over $15,000. In 2007, a stray dog saved Shannon Lorio after she crashed down an embankment and was thrown through the back window of her car. The German Shepherd emerged from the woods, pulled her by the collar off of the trunk, and 50 yards through the briars to the road where she could be seen by passing motorists. And they say dogs are only a man's best friend. Iowa and Montana will revoke your driver's license if you can't pay back your student loans. UK brothers Jeff and John Bitmead created a grown-up version of the red and yellow Little Tikes toy car. It's road legal, fully functional, and can go up to 113 kilometers an hour. Mice can sing just like birds. It's simply inaudible to human ears. The naked mole rat is not only unable to feel pain, it's the only known thermoconforming mammal, is resistant to cancer, and possesses extraordinary longevity for a rodent. Queen Elizabeth II has owned more than 30 corgis over her reign. Steve Jobs had a high school GPA of 2.65. Hummingbirds have such a high metabolism that they are always hours away from starving to death. In France, it is illegal for grocery stores to throw away edible food. Stores have to donate edible unused food to charity or facilities that process it into animal feed or compost. A survey conducted by Buy T-Shirts Online says that those who wear black are seen as serious and reliable. Almost 50% of women and 64% of men agree that black exudes confidence. If you are a 7+ foot tall American male between the ages of 20 and 40, there is a 17% chance you currently play for the NBA. Pedestrians in Jerusalem's Valero Square can stop for some rest under these self-inflating giant flowers. Installed by HQ Architects in 2014 and entitled WARD, These 9 by 9 meter flowers bloom when someone approaches or when a tram is about to arrive, brightening and otherwise depressed as part of the city. On an island in Indonesia, if a child dies before he started teething, the baby is placed inside the trunk of a growing tree. The hole is then sealed, and as the tree begins to heal, the child is believed to be absorbed. And in fact, dozens of babies may be interred within a single tree. Yikes. The mobile game Send Me to Heaven involves throwing your phone as high in the air as you can. The creator made it with the hopes of destroying as many iPhones as possible, but Apple banned it from the App Store. Who would ever download that? Bananas have more trade regulations imposed upon them than AK-47s do. The world's tallest man, Bao Zishun, used his long arms reaching 1.06 meters to remove plastic from the stomachs of 2 dolphins, which ultimately saved their lives after trainers tried numerous other methods. Ew, could you imagine that? When Julius Caesar first discovered giraffes, he named them cami-leopards, since they remind him of both camels and leopards. British banking giant HSBC admitted to laundering billions of dollars for Colombian and Mexican drug cartels and violating a host of important banking laws. But somehow there were no criminal charges and no one went to jail. You can't usually smell your own house, or perfume for that matter, because of the survival instinct called olfactory adaptation. The brain is always looking for new, unusual, or changing smells as a sign of possible danger, so it ignores smells that it has become familiar with. The most densely populated island on the planet is Santa Cruz del Islate, off the coast of Colombia. It measures only about 0.012 kilometers, but is home to over 1,200 people. A biotech startup has managed to print 3D rhino horns that are genetically similar to a real horn. The best thing about it is that the company plans to flood Chinese and Vietnamese markets where demand is high and bring down the price, and thus demand. The movie Straight Outta Compton didn't play in Compton because there are no theaters there. There's a waterfall that exists where nobody knows where the water goes. Minnesota's Devil Kettle Falls dumps into a giant pothole with no seeable exit. Researchers have actually poured dye and logs into it, then washed the lake for any sign of them. So far, none have ever been found. A man in the United Kingdom was so fed up that his city wasn't repairing potholes, he went and spray painted penises on them, earning him the nickname Wanksy. There is a natural rock formation off of the coast of Iceland that looks like a giant elephant. Donald Trump was actually the inspiration for the character Biff Tannen in the Back to the Future trilogy. There is a bookstore in Australia where books are wrapped in paper with short descriptions so that no one can judge a book by its cover. There is only one species of warm-blooded fish on Earth, the Opa. Pixar spent 3 years studying the physics of curly hair in order to correctly render Merida's hair in Brave. Americans work 137 more hours per year than a Japanese worker, 260 more hours a year than a British worker, and 499 hours more a year than French workers. If you come across a stranded dolphin, do not help it back into the water. More often than not, they beach themselves purposely because they are sick/injured and are trying to avoid drowning. If you are an Indian American and you own a motel, there is a 70% chance that your last name is Patel. The reason that men have nipples is because all embryos start off as females in the womb. According to researchers, night owls, or people who stay up late and sleep in, tend to be more extravagant, impulsive, and novelty-seeking. They also tend to be more likely to develop addictive behaviors, mental disorders, and antisocial tendencies. And that's all this time from the Knowledge Whale. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to learn more, be sure to check out my sources in the description. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by clicking that like button, and be sure to click the subscribe button too so that you can catch my next video. And of course, if you want to watch my daily vlogs, there's a link to my vlog channel that you can click right there. And if you want to watch my gaming videos, there's a link to my gaming channel that you can click right there. And all of these links, as well as my socials, are in the description below. And that's it, my friends. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!